So I always get asked about this whole issue because I get involved so much with death. And so my history with death is kind of interesting. I grew up as a child in a preacher's home. And so death for me was something that I saw my father deal with a lot as a pastor, doing funerals and being involved in. But it was one of those things in my life I didn't really want to be involved. In fact, I saw myself as one of these kind of people that if I got confronted with death or if I was around dead people, I just assumed I would totally freak out. So I avoided anything that was related to death as much as possible, which for people who know me today realize that this is a huge departure from the kind of life that I've lived comparatively to my childhood. When I was in college, I did an internship. My father had been a missionary to Japan and was still serving as a missionary there. And so between my junior and senior year in college, I had the opportunity to go back to Japan and serve as an intern there and was studying to become actually a minister. And while I was there, went to a particular church that happened to be using a facility inside of a high-rise building. And there were some items that my father needed me to get, so I left the building, went outside to where our car was parked right next to the building. And as I was in the car, I heard this horrific crash. And as I kind of turned and looked off to my side, no more than probably 15 feet from where I was standing, a gentleman had jumped off of the building, had gone through a metal and plastic awning, and was dismembered and was laying right there where I was. And as you can well imagine, this was my first and overwhelming experience with death. And yet something interesting, at least from my perspective, happened when I saw that. I had assumed I would have this meltdown. I couldn't deal with it. I couldn't function. And what struck me is that what bothered me the most is that another human being could be that desperate and that hopeless and that close to where I was proximity-wise. And I felt helpless to have been able to help him. In addition to working with all of the different law enforcement departments over the years, one of the areas that I've kind of developed an expertise in has been that of death notifications. So you can see it's been a long journey because I came from an individual who said, I don't even know if I should be involved with anything related to death. At this point in my career, I couldn't even tell you how many times I have gone into homes or into businesses to notify individuals that someone that they love, that they care so much about, has died either in an accident or in some kind of an incident. And that over the years has led me to realize that in law enforcement, this is one of those things that we ask law enforcement officers to do, and we don't train them. I have yet to meet a police officer who has said to me, you know what, I remember when I was in the academy and I went through the death notification training class. It's something that's never even really talked about. Many officers don't even think about it till they get their first call on the radio and are told, you have to go over to this home and make the notification. And so out of the experience and out of the multiple notifications that I've made over the years, we had the opportunity to put together a book on death notifications designed specifically for first responders to really help them really understand what a death notification is, the nuts and bolts of it, how to really do it in a way that is least offensive and yet is effective. And then also to help them understand a little bit of how people grieve and some of the processes that they're going to be dealing with when they're on the scene, when they're sharing with people this news. And from that, I've had opportunity to do trainings both for police officer training at academies, for victims assistance groups, for correctional facilities, multiple organizations that we've been able to train them in how to make a death notification.